Welcome to Conversations with Masters. This is a two-part series where the Masters will be discussing the topic of reconciling our divine selves with our humanness and embracing our divinity. This is a recording of part 2. Everyone on this call is an enlightened master who agreed to participate in this conversation and share their wisdom and experiences around these spiritual topics. Our intention with these conversations is to look at spiritual topics from a higher perspective. Please seek out these masters who are participating in this series of Conversations with Masters. They have all unique talents, and most of them offer their services. Please look them up so you may learn more about their gifts and what they have to offer. They are identified along with their websites in the comment section below. So as I stated, today, this is part 2 of a two-part conversation about the topic of reconciling our divine selves with our humanness and embracing our divinity. Most of us generally agree that we're divine souls choosing to come into human form to have a human experience. And is the first step embracing our divinity, remembering who we are and who are we? What is our divinity? Is it separate from our human? If we embrace our divinity, do we have to give up experience the wonderful parts of being human and become solely vibrational? Are we indeed divine beings having a human experience? Debra had mentioned on part 1 of this series that there's only us. What does that mean, there's only us? And Ahmet mentioned in part 1, he's recently been saying this affirmation, I am the power that loves me. Is I am our divinity? Is our power source, or is it our divinity? Or are they the same? So, fellow masters, part 1, we focused a lot on reconciling our divine selves with our humanness. Today, we'll discuss more on embracing our divinity. Shall we start with, yes, go ahead. Please.
I was going to just turn it around a little bit and share the concept of my divinity embracing me. I had this experience, oh gosh, okay, I was with a Walkman. Okay, so it's like 20 or 25 years ago. And I had just listened to an Abraham segment, Abraham Hicks. Mm-hmm. And I was going to go on a walk and I had my Walkman with me. And I experienced on that segment such love, such compassion that they showed whoever was in the hot seat. There was so much love and so much compassion. So when I walked out the door, walking down, the street, I was telling Abraham the story and I said, I've got this feeling. And I said, I want to praise you. And I said, I grew up in church and I've been around, I've heard this, praise the Lord, pray, all of my life. And I said, this is the first time that I ever felt like every cell in my body, wanted to praise, and like, now I know what it means to praise the Lord. And I said, that's what I want to do. I just want to praise you because it was such a beautiful experience, all of that love. And Abraham said, okay. And they said, now, do you want to know how we feel about you? It's the next song. And they said, this song, this is how we feel about you. And this song is based on when the part of your soul agreed to be human. And so the song is called From This Moment On. And what the moment is when we were all in spirit, we're all in source, but the human part, like it was just the agreement. And we agreed, yes, I'm going to go to earth as a human expression, of my soul. And they said, this is how we celebrated that. So the song, these are a few words from the song, and it says, but now you got to remember, this is not a lover singing to a lover. This is not me praising God or to my soul. This is my soul saying to me, this is how they felt. And how they felt was, from this moment, life has begun. And from this moment, you are the one. Right beside me is where I belong from this moment. from this moment, I have been blessed, and I live only for your happiness and for your love. I would give my last breath from this moment on. I give my hand to you with all my heart. Can't wait to live my life with you. Can't wait to start. You and I will never be apart. My dreams came true because of you. You're the reason I believe in love. You're the answer to my prayers. All I need is just the two of us. My dreams came true because of you. And that's the highlight, or the one that really sends shivers all over me when I embrace the concept that I am the dream coming true of my soul. I'm their dream come true to incarnate, to manifest, to be in the human. So I just offered that because so often I feel like I'm trying to reconcile or seek or incorporate my soul, find my soul, know my soul, allow my soul, or the spirit. So it was just a little different angle when I think about, but my soul is seeking me. My soul desires me. I am the dream come true of my soul. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful, Sharon. And it reminds me of what last week Debra had pointed out some of my language that she didn't say this way, but it was my language wasn't quite impeccable. And the way I was saying something is like, we are divine having a human experience, not a human having a divine experience. And I think just what you said there is a great illustration of that. It's our souls coming into us, to our humans, which allow the souls to have a human experience. So we are divine here having that human experience, and they love us because we're allowing them to have this temporary experience. Yeah, that was beautiful.
What is the pending question, Sandy? I'm sorry.
There were several. The pending at that moment.
There were a lot of questions you asked them.
There are a lot of questions I asked. Well, what are we actually? Because even though we generally accept that we are humans, divine beings who came into human, kind of what does that mean? That's the first question. And then let's say the second one I follow that up in is the first step to embracing our divinity, remembering who we are. So what if we came here as a divine soul, but yet our human never has a realization? Does it change that that's what's going on? In order to embrace it and to reconcile it, do we need to have that remembrance? Is there something we need to do as humans? I think awareness for one thing, right? Remembering, embracing.
Yeah, and our desire at this point in the history of this world is for us to remember and allow all that our divine being is to be a part of this experience. Once we do, the vibration gets higher and higher and higher, and we then explore more and more and more possibilities, and we have greater and greater and greater joy and greater impact on everyone around us. So the key for me is always remembering that idea that I am a divine being having a human experience, and this divine experience, this divine being is so filled with light and love that the more I open up to remembering my divine self, the more light and love I am embodying, the more love that flows to me from the Creator, light and love as well. And so that's how I look at it, is always remember that. Always remember that's who I am. And in that context, when I show weaknesses or when I show limitations or when I quote make mistakes, that is not the real me making mistakes. That's just the illusion of someone making mistakes. The real me is the bigger picture of who I really am. And it helps me in those moments when I have issues with a relationship, I have issues with a challenge on timing. I might have issues with finances. All of those things are just microscopic compared to the bounteous view of we are divine beings and we are growing in light like never before. And we're growing in light in such a way that it doesn't need to go in there and try to do some whatever to try to eliminate the darkness around us. We are that light that just as the very presence dispels it, which wasn't the case years ago. We were at an incredible point where that is no longer an issue. It's just expanding that light.
And knowing that light is within us, that we have it to expand.
Oh yeah.
That is just, to me, that's like the way you said that, Troy, it expanded a lot within us. It just gave me such excitement. And also to realize, you know, that's how sometimes I have to go back in the moment and remember just what you said. I'm not the person that does this. That's no, I am the light. Those are just experiences I'm having.
Yeah.
Debra's
So
joining us, which is good because then I can ask her that question in a little bit. Welcome, Debra. Go ahead, Troy.
There she is.
So being in that situation, and I had it yesterday where of course I had some issues in a relationship, some challenges, some things like that. Rather than being bogged down in this versus that, or who said this, or why this was said, or what needs are being met or not being met, to step back from that whole thing and just kind of watch that and say, that is really not the reality here. The reality is we're divine beings having this human experience. And what all that matters is light. All that matters is love. And there's only love. I mean, that's what Dawn shares a lot. It's only love here. And to bog down in those details sometimes just diminishes our light. And yeah, recognize the mistakes, but don't be hard on the human being, because the human being is not the real being. The human is just having the experience. It's the real being that's really kind of having a lot of fun knowing that this is not really, this is like a play. This is like a movie. This is not the real thing going on.
And if we're not realizing that it's the divinity and light and love and are so within us, it does really, you know, we talk about 3D being heavy and dense. And I think if you think for a moment without having that light within us, boy, it certainly does feel dense, especially that we've all come to a point where we have this realization. And it's very hard, I think, to go. It would be very hard to go back. We're not going back. But even for a moment, when I think about being that, just my human not being a divine being, it feels so heavy.
Yeah.
And it does not feel like fun.
Yeah, take a look at the newspaper. If that's all you focus on every day, it's a very heavy experience.
So Debra, I'm glad you got on. Before you got on, I had asked one of these questions that I started out in. And I said that you were always saying that we are all there is. There's only us. You say that quite often, right? And so and that us is just what Troy said when he was talking about what divinity and light means inside, and that's surely who you are. But I wanted you to expound on that a little bit for what you mean by that, and also that people can learn from that who might be listening on how to embrace that.
Okay, first of all, apologies for being late. It is 40 degrees here, which is, I worked it out, 100 and something, I don't know what, in your language.
Yeah.
So just excuse me. What's funny about that, Sandy, is that you just said you're always saying that, aren't you? And what's interesting is that my friend and mentor, Liz Nagel, who I have on my YouTube channel, I have conversations with her. I call it Self-Mastery with Liz Nagel on my YouTube channel. Because she is my mentor, and for 2 solid years she said to me, there is only you, Debra, but there is only you, Debra. And I would come to her with stories and she would say to me, that's a story, Debra. You know, it's a story that you've created and you can create another one. You know, so for 2 years, I did have someone saying to me, but there is only you. And every time she said it, it would just take me back and it would make me realize that I had been speaking from the ego. When I say the ego, you know, I obviously don't mean, you know, hey, that ego. I mean like the pain body. You know, the pain body is also our ego. Our ego is anything that isn't really us, right? So you're talking from a place of limitation and lack, if we talk in the council's language, you know. And there were so many times when I would start talking, yeah, but this and that, and she would just go, it's story, and she would, you know, cut me off. And there was just a couple of occasions when I was literally in tears, and I was like, I know it's a story, but please could I tell you my story? Because sometimes we just need to get it out, you know. But then when you're doing that and you're getting it out, you realize to yourself, that is a story and I can write another one. So it's funny that you say that, because yes, it takes a long time to go from hearing it to actually integrating it, saying it, and embodying it, and living it, you know. And that's the process. So we all need a Liz Nagel in our life, and that's why I'm just passing on her work when I say, you know, there is only you. But if I can just take it a step further, because
Please.
you know, because then of course a lot of people would say, well, of course there isn't only me. Look, I'm on Zoom with all these lovely people. But so I extend it a little bit, because I understand that there is only you creating your reality. Nobody else is creating your reality. Nobody else is. Other people are playing a part, but the part that they play is 100% directed by your frequency. Your frequency is directing them. So if I have a frequency of jealousy within me, in the cells of my body, then that frequency is going to create a scenario outside of me at the frequency of jealousy. And that will probably include a person, I don't know what. And then a person is going to come and play a part in my life, directed by my frequency of jealousy. See what I'm getting at? So if I have a frequency of anger, then that's the same thing, you know, that frequency, an actor will come and play a role in my film, directed by my frequency of anger, which is why when I love myself and I'm full of love, I have all these players coming in just wanting to love me, you know, because they're responding to my frequency.
That's beautiful. Very, very well explained. Thank you so much, Debra. But would you also say, to take a little tiny bit more to that, would you also say, if there's only me, is the me or you, that's my divinity, right? It's not me, the human.
Yeah, because, well, there is only you, because every other human is a part of you.
Right.
So there is still only you. But yes, when I say you, we had this last week, didn't we? When I say you, I mean your divinity. And when I say me, I mean my divinity, my highest self, my energetic self, you know. So yeah, we are all each other. And sometimes, you know, Liz and I will have a little joke about you know, like I saw someone the other day, she's so tall and slim and beautiful and brown, and she had really thin ankles. And I was looking at her, and Liz saw me looking at her, and she said, you weren't looking at her with envy. And I just said, no, not at all. She is the part of me that has thin ankles.
Yes.
You know, and I'm just living through her. The thin ankled, you know, me is living through her, and she's doing a grand job. And I was like, hey. So you just see everybody as a part of you, which is why, you know, this is the other thing, isn't it? If you have, it came up for me this week, if you have like domestic violence and stuff like that, and it's like that is the lack of self-love being reflected back to you. And if you're surrounded by violent people, you know, and then people go, well, I'm not violent, and then, but it's all that energy of, are you beating yourself up? Because that's violence. Are you using violent words? Because, you know, our language has got some really horrible phrases in it, you know. So it's a case of really listening to the way that you're saying things and understanding that if you are attracting a certain type of person, or if you're attracting a load of people that are irritating you, you know, where are you irritating yourself? You see what I'm saying? Because the more you're full of love, the more loving people you're going to have around you.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I had said before I got in the call that you had pointed out, you didn't say it this way, but I said my not quite impeccable language. And like you're saying, being impeccable language doesn't mean you always don't say the wrong thing. It just means if there's things you can say in a better way to elevate your vibration and embrace, remembering that you are indeed God, divinity, our souls are having this human experience, then that's always a great thing too.
But I think there's a lot of our language that we need to reclaim and to revamp, because phrases like to kill two birds with one stone, you know, I keep going to say it, and then I'm like, well, to achieve two actions with one, you know, I'm like, there isn't an alternative, but I don't want to say kill two birds with one stone. Why do I want to say that? You know, and there's a lot of and also just now my son pulled me up on, you know, we were talking about a friend that's sick, you know, and I said, oh, well, he's not on death's door, like that. And I just thought, death's door, why do I even want to say that? You know, I should have just said, oh, well, he's not very sick, you know, but there's a lot of our language that we need to kind of be conscious of, I think.
Yeah, being impeccable, absolutely. So then I'm going to also pivot to what Ahmet said last week about this affirmation that I've been saying lately about I am the power that loves me. So, you know, like you said, you break that out, I am. Who is I am? That's our divinity, right? Just like in the Bible, a lot of people are very, you know, God said, I am the world, I am this, I am that. So when we're saying I am, we're also embracing our divinity. Although I think some of us who grew up so strongly in a church situation, we had a little struggle with that for a while. That was long, not now, saying that. But I like that I am, you know, that's in, I think every time we say I am, I think this is what you pointed out before, Amanda, please say it better than me, that I am is embracing our divinity no matter what we say after that. But then I was also curious about power, because I have said that too. I am the power that loves me. So I am divinity, power. Wow. Source, everything, and that loves me. So yeah, say more about that. I know one of my favorite verses when I was a child was be still and know that I am God. So I think I mentioned that before. Now I heard that as be still and know that I am God. Anyway, please, Ahmet, if you could even say more about that.
You know, today's focus is on exploring our divinity. Just to complete that affirmation, I am the power that loves me. So the first step was, we all agree that remembering who we really are. As long as we remember who we really are, and as long as we know that the peace of God is in us, as long as we know that we are God, so now we are in a different zone. So that zone requires many things. That zone requires a mastery. That zone requires infinite wisdom. So you begin to explore your planet, the other planets, the other stars, the other galaxies, the universe, and try to learn about extraterrestrials. And then start to realize there's a new energy here, the new Earth. Something is going on, and acknowledging the ascension period is happening as we speak. understanding the 4D and 5D, understanding extraterrestrials, angelic realms, spirit realms, elements, animals. So the zone is very, very large and very deep. So it requires a lot of wisdom. So we are lucky enough to reincarnate at this moment on Earth right now, because we are all old souls and volunteer to have this experience, witnessing the humanity ascending from 3D to 4D and the 5D. So coming back to the affirmation, I am the power that loves me. So our God in us loves our humanness. So we are here for a great experience. We are here to have fun. We are here to share our wisdom and then be really witness of this, well, I think one of a kind time that ascending to the 4D and 5D. The list is so big, but I just, like to stop right here. So maybe you might want to add to this list
Well,
at this point.
I thought that was beautiful, but I also I have a question on behalf maybe of our listeners too. Is so you talked about all sorts of other realms, angelic realm, the animals, the extraterrestrials, the other galactics. So are they like us human? Well, I guess only the soul can only have a human experience when they come into soul. But but there's light in all of that. It's just having a different experience. Is that how? If you're soul and light and you're coming to animal, you're having that experience. If you're coming, well, I don't know if they come in angels, there probably already are angels. That just made me curious when you said it like that some people might wonder about that.
Yeah, we choose to be here on Earth right now, and not many beings they choose to be on Earth because of the high, very, very dense here. We vibrate very low, so it's not easy for many extraterrestrials and many spirit realms and angelic realms to come down to our 3D level. So we were volunteered to be here to have that experience to manifest in physical reality. So it was a challenge actually to be here for us. We took the challenge. So we are honored to be here. Earth is the jewel of the universe. So we are here at this moment. So we are lucky enough to be here at this moment. So they vibrate higher, most of these extraterrestrials and angelic realms, but they are watching over us. So this is a game for everybody. Everybody is in it. Not the humans are ascending right now. The whole universe is ascending, because if the Earth is a part of the universe, if the Earth is ascending, means the universe is ascending.
That's great. Thank you for elaborating on that a little bit.
Thank you.
Such an exciting time.
Yes, it's going to get better and better.
Better and better.
Yes.
Especially tomorrow is the strawberry full moon. It's a special day for all of us, because we are going to be receiving a special light codes from the moon, actually from the sun, because the moon reflects the light from the sun. So it's going to be a filter in a different way, and it's going to light up us. So tomorrow is better spent some time walking, maybe under the full moon will be great. So tomorrow's a big day.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the fact that we all know that we're here at a wonderful time because we're expanding humanity. We're expanding, as you said, that transports all the way out within the universe. Everything's affected by it. And as we know, there's a lot more people that are waking up, or that are embracing that they are indeed human souls having a human experience, and they're starting to see that they're not just this 3D human, they are more than that. So it's exciting to see that happen, that people we know and we love, and people maybe we don't know, but just we're seeing it. A lot of people are seeing it throughout the earth, and we're all connected. We're different places. We 4 of us in the United States, but then we've got Ahmet over in Turkey, and we've got Debra over in Spain. So, but we've got a group of people that we're all connected with too, that are all over the world. And everyone is seeing people start to wake up more. So Dawn, did you want to say something about it? No, you haven't, about this topic? I know your voice is beautiful to add.
I would. I'd like to. I think I have a little more simplistic version. I came from Source. I am Source. I created this body. I didn't just choose some embryo, some fetus to focus myself into. I actually manipulated all those little cells and created this body just for me. I am Source. I am here for the experience and the expansion. There is no right or wrong. There is only me. In all of the universe, I am multidimensional. So everything that's happening is just another aspect of me. You, Sandy, you're another aspect of me. My higher self, angels, galactics, other universes, just other aspects of me. There is only the divine. I am the divine. Every other is the divine, having their own experience. Just fractals of Source. We're all just here for the experience. It's not a coincidence that we're here right now. We chose to focus ourselves into these human bodies right now. We chose that because we knew how exciting this was and how important it was right now to be here, to shine our light, to recognize the divinity in every other.
Beautiful, beautifully said and surmised. I actually think that may be the perfect place to stop. I'll do what I always do. Is there something else that someone wants to add or state at this point?
I just wanted to follow up on something Dawn just said, because and it is relevant to the topic to some extent, I'm sure, but she said that we created this body rather than choosing it. And I think that's a really interesting point, because Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about our biography becoming our biology, and all of our experiences are reflected in our physical body. And it made me think of something that came to me some time ago. I was giving a talk, and it was I was reading from my notes, and it was quite stilted, and I was like, where's spirit? Normally spirit comes through me, and I was struggling, and then suddenly this next bit came through me, and I had never heard it before. And it was about, we actually incarnate into the perfect body for our purpose.
Oh.
And that really made me go, wow. Because then, but when I said that to this group of people who were like middle-aged people, they're all looking at their bodies going, well, my body's not perfect. I'm like, but that's not the body you incarnated with. That's your body is reflecting your biography. Now, if you've had a happy life and you're joyful, you could see it in people's faces. You could see it in the cells of their body. But if you have trapped emotions, limiting beliefs, and you're holding on to stuff, energy, you know, then that's when you start, you know. So I'm talking about the body you actually incarnate into. And when I thought about that, it really helped me love my human, and it really helped me love my physical body. Even though that other woman has my thin ankles, it really helped me love all of who I am, because I don't know whether you know, there's this motivational speaker. He's Australian, but of Polish descent. He's called Nick Vujicic or something like that. And he was born with no arms and no legs. And when he was 12, he wanted to kill himself. And he obviously struggled a lot. And he then became a motivational speaker, and he called himself No Arms, No Legs, No Worries. And he went around schools talking to teenagers.
Wow.
And then he expanded into even more of who he was. He married, he's got 4 kids. He's just got like a little flipper. So he swims and everything. There's nothing he can't do, right? It's amazing. And he's so inspirational. And he now calls himself No Arms, No Legs, No Limit. And he goes around the whole, he's so, and you can see that he is embodying divine wisdom, and you can see that he is living his purpose, and he's living in abundance, and he couldn't do that purpose without that body, and that body was his adversity to grow from, because we all grow from adversity, right? We grow more rapidly from grief and adversity. So that was his path that he chose. And so if you think about it, because you get a lot of people, you know, trying to be ballet dancers like me, trying to be ballet dancers when their body is clearly saying, not this lifetime, darling, you know, and that's fine, because it's like, okay, you know, my higher self, me, my human, what is it that we want? What is my purpose, you know? And for me personally, you know, training to be a yoga teacher at the age of 50, being shorter and let's say a little bit wider than most, I think a lot of people are inspired by that. You know, when they see tall, skinny, bendy people, they just look and they go, oh, they can do yoga, I can't. When people look at me, they're like, if she could do it, I could do it. And so I think that it does, I really feel that, you know, and it just makes me love myself even more, if you see what I mean. So there's that kind of reconciliation between my higher self and my human. So if you think about how your body was when you incarnated, it is the perfect body, or if it isn't, it's because you've allowed lack and limitation in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect.
no, that was perfect sense. That's inspired me too, that I need to go back to what I inspired me to go back to what I was inspired to do before, to do my podcast on aging at a time of consciousness. So maybe that's what my body, yeah, that was good. Thank you. So does anyone else want to add anything to, that was I thought we covered lots of ground today, lots of really, really good meaty stuff for people. So